let's get on with this story. About that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" Friend, let me just clear first a common misconception before we go on. The common misconception of most people is this, that the kingdom of heaven is a place in the sky, among the clouds, where the soul would retire. It's essentially, for most people, it is a happy retirement place for good people. That's one way of looking at it. I don't agree with that way of looking at the kingdom of heaven, but here it is. Friend, that word kingdom is not actually a noun. It's actually, as it was written, it's actually a verb. It is not a place. It's actually an action. You see, friend, the kingdom of heaven is whenever God reigns. Let me ask you a very important question. Friend, is God reigning in your life? If the answer to that question is yes, then God is really bringing His kingdom into your life. The kingdom of heaven is in your life. If you're following Jesus, then you are in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus called a little child to Him and put the child among them. And He said, "I tell you the truth, unless you turn from your sins and become like little children, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven." So anyone who becomes as humble as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Friend, here's another common misconception. When people read this passage, they think that Jesus is trying to tell us that we gotta be like the child. We have to be innocent like the child. We have to have minds filled with wonder like a child. And that's one way of looking at it, and I have no beef with that. That's actually a good interpretation. But here's the thing, Jesus is not actually pointing to the child's personality. Jesus is pointing to the child's powerlessness. You see, a child is powerless, okay? It's powerless without the parents. And Jesus wants us to really rely on God's power, on the Father's power, not on our own. And that's what we want to do. You see, Jesus wants us to outgrow this need of ours to be the greatest, the strongest, the best, the richest, the most beautiful, most popular. He wants us to outgrow this need to become the most powerful. You see, this need for power is actually rooted in this need to focus on ourselves. Here's what I want you to really remember, friend. When my life is all about me, then God is not reigning in my life. If our lives are all about us, you and me, then God is not reigning in our lives. That's what we want to remember, really. Jesus wants us to outgrow that focus on ourselves, because Jesus has always been for other people. So who is this about? Who is Jesus wanting us to focus on? And anyone who welcomes a little child like this on my behalf is welcoming me. Friend, Jesus actually wants us to focus on those who are poor, who are possessed, those who are unpopular, those who are powerless. Friend, here's one last question. How do you treat the powerless? How do you treat them? You treat them well? You know, the answer to that question, my friend, is really revealing, because if you treat a person well, if you treat someone who is powerless by welcoming them, you're actually going to welcome Jesus. If you condemn them, if you curse them, you're actually condemning and cursing Jesus. You see, Jesus is living in the bottom. He's embracing the bottom dwellers. And if we embrace the bottom dwellers as well, we are also embracing Jesus. But here's one last story. This is a story of Jeff, okay? This is a story of Jeff. And Jeff is this really cool dude, and he just got vaccinated. So he was walking outside in the sidewalk, and then suddenly he fell in the manhole. And then boom, he broke his leg. He couldn't get out of it, the manhole, so he had to cry out, "Help me!" And you know, people heard him, and there was this priest who heard him and went to him, and the priest looked at Jeff and then told Jeff, "Dude, I think this happened to you because you were careless. You deserve to be in that manhole. See ya." And then the priest went away. Oh no. And then Jeff kept crying, "Help me, please. My leg's broken." And so someone heard him. It was a pastor, okay? The pastor heard Jeff, and he saw Jeff. And then what did he do? He told Jeff, "You should have listened to me. If only you've listened to me, you would not have fallen in that manhole." See ya. Oh, he just left. What? And Jeff kept crying out. He was so desperate. "I have heard. Help me!" And then there was this very cool preacher who heard Jeff, and then he went to Jeff and saw Jeff and told Jeff, that looks bad. Okay, if ever you get out of that manhole, then I'm going to teach you how to never fall inside a manhole ever again. See ya. Then he just went away. What? Why won't anybody help me? And Jeff was so desperate. And then Jesus was there. Jesus, without saying anything, he just jumped into the manhole. He jumped into that stinky manhole, and he pushed Jeff up outside. Jeff was saved. That's amazing, right? It is amazing. Jesus jumping into the manhole. Wow. Friend, I know you think this story is familiar. This is an analogy of what God has been doing. He did for us. God heard the cry of help of humanity, and then he went to the bottom to dwell with us. Jesus, you know, he saved us with his crucifixion. He is our salvation story, my friend. And right now, maybe you think that story is so old, that's irrelevant to my. No. Friend, remember, if you right now you are in your bottom, if you're in your rock bottom, friend, remember, Jesus is with you. Jesus is with you in your bottom, in your rock bottom. And that's how Jesus really saves us. He is with us as he saves us. He's pushing us up. And if you ever find someone who is also in their bottom, in their rock bottom places in life, especially in this pandemic, be there for them. And you know what? You're not just doing it on your own. You're not just helping them on your own. You are double teaming with Jesus. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then please do join us every Saturday night for our feast at home. The link is in the description. Anyway, I'm Noli. See you on the next one.